the status quo, and that's why we are very proud to propose this motion. First of all, I would like to define this motion. This house means all countries in this world can start legalizing polygamy. And polygamy, as you know, is the system that the husband can have more than two wives legitimately, and that is our definition. So, having said that, let me move on to our substantive matter. Firstly, I'd like to explain the reason why we can allow their choice, allow the women's choice, allow the people's choice to use the polygamy. Later, please. And secondly, I'll explain how this proposal will actually improve the status of the women. So, yes, sir.
So after taking this proposal, men have how much number of the wives does men will be able to have?
We will not say that. We won't say this is a limitation. But when we look at the situation in Africa or etc., they might have 5 or 6 or 7 like that. So that we will expect such kind of situation after taking this proposal. So let me move on to our argument. Firstly, I'll explain about the rights of the women to have polygamy. We believe that the reason to be married depends on each individual. It's up to each individual's choice. Like the opposite side might say that the women are forced to be married because they don't have money enough, so they have to be depend on men. However, we believe that kind of choice is also a legitimate choice. Even in the advanced country, which do not have polygamy, also women choose the men who are rich than the poor. We believe that kind of choice is also can be applied to each case, and that's why. No, thank you. And if the women believe that it is okay for me to be the one of the wife of them, that we believe that choice is also okay for them because that choice is made by the women itself. So having said that, let me move on to the second issue about the women's status. In the current situation, women they are less. Firstly, I will explain about the context of this debate. In the place where we used to have a polygamy is a place like a country which are not developed enough, and the countries the place like rural area, countryside, and the agricultures are the main things with what they are doing. And in that kind of place, we believe that there is less men than the women in the places. Why is that? Because the men tends to go out from the rural area, go out from the agriculture system, and go into the cities. And they start working at that place, and many men are staying in that place, and they sustain their life at that place. That is why there is less men in the rural area, and what that is causing the less men means that the less chance for the women to be married. And what is the harm of that situation? As everybody knows, the women's status is very, very low in that kind of country. That means that if they do not have a husband, they do not have any economical support from any other person. That means that no, thank you. That means they are suffering from poverty. They do not have the food to eat right now. They do not have enough clothes or a place to live. That is the situation in the status quo. No, thank you. However, by taking this proposal, what is going to happen? independence, because it is difficult for them to suddenly become independent economically. So in the first step, they can be the one Mr. A's wife, and they can go into the society as a wife. And starting from that situation, they can have make friends, or they can improve their status. They can speak out. They will have the chance to speak out. And for all these reasons, this proposal is needed. Thank you.
I thank my Minister for her remarks. Now, to go to the case for opposition and call upon leader.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, and it's half day. The opposition side strongly believe that this version will make the women more tough situation in those countries with government side I talked about, and they will be suffer from those unfair situation, and this is totally against today's world context. So women have the power, women have the right to improve their own status and status quo. That is why, in order to make sure that women have and have a happy life to be married, we will be proudly propose this motion today. So before moving into today's argument, let me review what the previous speaker said. The previous speaker said that firstly, that they said justification for this argument is that women are so poor, and in order for them to be independent, economically and so on, we have to take promotion. But firstly, they said it's not forced choice. Mr. Speaker, they clearly explained that women are suffering from poverty and those kind of things under this situation, and that's why they marry and to get out of that situation. We say this is totally forced choice, because women are there's no way women they explain there is no way to women get out of that situation. Which means that women have to take have monogamy. And even if this is the choice made by the woman, we say this is not the way, this is not justifiable, and our father explained in my first argument. No, thank you. And secondly, they said that women can raise their status and they can speak out to the society. And we didn't see any context or the country. We didn't know which country we're talking about. But they didn't explain why those kind of women don't have those kind of ability to speak out to society in terms of the marriage. And we didn't see any part. And we said that by this motion, women will be more abused, and women will be more discriminated by this motion. So let me explain one by one. Okay.
If you admit that problem that women are in a poor situation right now, how do you solve the problem by your motion?
Okay, so even under the poor, those countries, especially in developing country and so on, there are the movement to improve the women's right. The government already taking those policies to raise the women. And the poverty is not only a problem of the women, and also it's a problem of the men. This is not this argument doesn't have any importance on this point. No, thank you. Let me move on to today's argument. So today we have three arguments. Firstly, I will talk about why marriage have to be monogamous in terms of social contract And secondly, I will talk about how this motion will undermine the woman and how the motion will put the woman in a hostage situation under resist after plant action. And third argument, we'll be talking about my problem. Let me explain one by one. So first point. So under this rule, like we are okay to have the biological difference between men and women, such as like a water arrestor and so on, because this is the biological difference. We can change it. But we said this is the thing is about a social contract, or this is about a social something related to society. We don't accept the women and men. We have to be fair in this stuff. For example, like women under this law in most of developing countries all over the world, like women or consider that they have the same ability with man and a woman, and we didn't accept that the company discriminate the woman not to hire, or company discriminate the man to prioritize. In those kind of social view, like we have to feel about men and women, and the marriage is also included this framework. Why? Because the marriage or first thing is it's ensured by the government, and secondly, this is what we regard this is like kind of a contract from the society, and that is why we have to be fair for the women and the men. We have to give the same power to those women and men. This is our justification. And secondly, I will talk about how this motion will abuse the women's right. So what kind of women we're talking about? Well, first, they all looking for no thank you, like economic benefit, because they are poor, or because they might be poor and they need money to rely on the husband. Or secondly, they need like a social recognition from the society. Or thirdly, they really love that guy, even they have so many wives already. And what kind of man we're talking about? The first motivation for him to have so many wives is that like a personal desire to have so many women for his reputation. Or secondly, that they need those personal connection or a personal connection from that family which the woman came from. This is a typical case, and those kind of developing country. And in those kind of cases, the women will be objectified and will be abused like a thing for the woman. Understands for it's okay because the woman now because one woman and one man are married, and if the woman abused by the man, she can raise voice, and the man have incentive to not free that woman from out of the marriage and so on. But after this motion, because there are so many wives for him, he can if the man abuse or abuse one woman, there are so many other women, and if the woman doesn't do anything, he just ignore her and so on. Because what he's looking for is that his social desire or the family background of the woman. So what will happen? The woman will be unilaterally oppressed by the man, and the woman will be abused, and the woman will be put in social hostage status. That's why I'm very proud to propose. Thank you.
Clear on opposition. In the case for opposition,
situation or something like that. In such situation, if we take this proposal, we will have to depend on the men in order to live, because they cannot run by themselves.
Yes, but we think it's more better than status quo. Status quo in the rural area, a lot of women who don't have a husband, such women just live by herself, but she can't live by themselves. It's more miserable situation. Such women are ignored, and such women are taught by their rural, even rural area. So firstly, women have to depend on some extent, but gradually women's status will be improved. I'd like to explain. So, and thirdly, the opposition say that love is the most important point to marriage, but we say that the many women are married to sake of money or the social status, so the love is not important point. Then I'd like to move on to our point. Today we have 2 points. The first point already my partner explained that the rich men in rural area is so few because of the majority rich men moved to the capital city and got married, or that the independent men don't have need women if he don't have a love person. So in the rural area there are few rich men, and instead of a lot of women without the husband. In such situation, if the man can marry with some rich man, that her life are supported, and also her family life, like her father and mother, also take care by the husband family. So it more make the stability life for the women's life and women's family relation. So firstly, women get the social recognition through the legitimate way. No, thank you. Second, I'd like to explain why the woman's status improved after taking this plan. To see the status quo and the developing country like the Namibia, Congo, Libya, Uganda, Niger, in such country the polygamy are banned recently. So women have to bear the baby, the 7 or 8, because the man needs the child to succeed in his industry. As a result, the woman has to bring up such a lot of child only by herself, using the 20 or 30 years. And after finishing bringing a child here, she already become 50 years or 16 years. So such woman can't work well, because agriculture needs the healthy body and the power. So such the weak, the near elderly woman is hard to work. So the imagine of a woman is the just marriage and bear baby long days and the depend on men. It's the status was imagine for a woman. So women's status is very low.
different cases. It is so big cases that one side she said Islamic country, but definition is all countries, or Uganda, or Burundi, or something like that. And moreover, why after taking this proposal, such marriage life, unfair married life, married by such unfair married life, how women can be happier? This is totally strange assumption that married life is a super happy. It is totally not true. Rather, if we take this proposal under the status quo, it will encourage the discrimination for the women, and this motion send a message that men is superior than women, women is weaker than men. Therefore, by such following logic, women is more complex than the status quo. Therefore, we strongly propose this motion. Sit down, please. Firstly, Mr. Speaker, I will review what previous speaker has said. She said that it is okay for the women to depend on the men. But it is not true. If we legalize such situation under the status quo, it stops the gradual change to realizing the fairness between the gender. We believe that keeping the status quo is better because under the status quo, yes, it is gradual change, but strictly women's status is increasing, such as banning polygamy or introducing some kind of introducing fair voting for the women or something like that. As such situation, as the fairness realizing, women's right is increasing. In such situation, women's situation will increasing because women can enter the society, women can work in the other society, becoming as women's status is increasing by the such situation. But after taking this proposal, such gradual change is totally stopping. That causes so harmful situation. I explain this point in my reconstruction. Secondly, both of them often told you that women stay in the rural area. Why women keep on the rural area? If they want to marry the man, they can go to the urban area. Why they stay at the rural area? There is no explanation. Therefore, under the status quo, there is no proper education. Thirdly, okay, then I move on to the reconstruction of my partner's syndrome. I explain the mechanism of my partner's second argument, how women will be abused by taking this proposal. As the opening government clearly mentioned that women are so poor under the status quo. In such situation, if we take this proposal, of course, women will stop their work and women will rush to marry with men in order to earn money or something like that. In such situation, firstly, it will be the forced and irrational choice, as my partner clearly mentioned. On such situation, after taking this proposal, what will happen for the women? Of course, women does not have any way to earn money by themselves, as the opening government mentioned. But on the other hand, men can earn money. Men can earn money, but women cannot earn money. And there are a lot of women who cannot earn money, but men can earn money. In such a situation, what will happen? Of course, such women have to obey the rule of the man, because otherwise he will hate women, and such women will be kicked out of the minimum social standard of the family. In such a situation, women cannot resist what the men said, even if it is irrational, even if it is oppressive, and even if it is abusive. Therefore, in such a situation, after taking this proposal, at the family level, women have to obey the rule of the men. It is the abusing of the women. And women have to totally obey the rule, because otherwise they cannot live, but they cannot make a living by themselves. They have to suffer, and because otherwise they have to suffer the poverty situation. Therefore, that is a totally abuse. That is not happy for the women. Therefore, we strongly oppose. Go.
Listening to your speech, you're saying that the marriage itself is bad, depending on having marriage with men. What is
that? My partner clearly mentioned that that under the status quo, one man and one woman is a totally totally has the same right, and such people have the same stance and same contact. They can become much possibility to do fairness. But after taking this proposal, men believe that women can work alternative way, because only men can have the choose to the women, but women have to marry with the men under such situation. And moreover, of course, men does not love the women who is against the men. In such situation, it's totally unfair and unhappy situation for the women on its own. Therefore, the argument totally does not stand. Secondly, if we take this proposal, we will accept the discrimination for the social level toward the women. Such discrimination will be accepted in the society. Therefore, this motion will clearly send a message that women is weaker than men. Such situation, the social integration from the women to the men is totally decreased. That is so counterproductive to realize the best. Therefore, we should take this proposal. Finally, I illustrated the situation. Yeah, after taking this proposal, only one man can have a lot of women as a married life. In such situation, yeah, women have to devote themselves to the men, because man, in order to get the love and in order to get money from the husband. But what stands in the husband, they don't have to love everyone equally, because there are a lot of wives, and someone loves him, but someone hates himself or something like that. In such situation, totally unfairness will occur, and such disgusting women will be kicked out of the family, and such women have to suffer in the severe social situation with it is what the open government said. In such situation, if we take this proposal, discrimination is increased, women's status will decrease. That is no good than harm. Therefore, we stand here.
Speakers noted for 7 minutes 32 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Let me hear a question. Then I took the case for second position on
today, as the lower house, we are going to reiterate our stance that this house would legalize polygamy. Firstly, I want to say that the upper house today has failed to tell us how to grapple with the status quo. There are so many women that are under very huge domestic violence, and they haven't provided that. What we're saying is that, say, sir, you love Stacy, but you also love Mary. We're granting you the right to have both of these women. We say, do you want to lose that right? We say you can love both of the women. This is what the upper house has proposed today. We say we should maximize your happiness. And you say, according to your logic, you said actually a woman get married to a man and then they give birth to a son. But the thing is that another couple has to give birth to a girl, and then there will be like equilibrium in society. But we say the status quo is that the women outnumber the men. We say the ratio between the women and men is too imbalanced in today's world. So this is why we have so many single women. Even after they're age 50, they still haven't got married. They have the right to enjoy sex. They have the right to enjoy having a very good love relationship with their husbands. We say if they're denied the right to get married, we say that pathologically speaking, this is going to be a huge problem for society. For those single women who really want to have sex, really want to have a sex party, but now because of this sex, they couldn't actually find a husband because as the ratio is just too imbalanced. We say as a government, we should consider the rights for those single women who are too old. We say we should award them the right. Okay, I take that.
Okay, why so women have to suffer from the man sexual desire? And please explain why there are just two imbalanced population between men and women that the government didn't explain.
Okay, I will address that in my latest speech. Today my construct speech is about it is going to do a lot of good thing to women, because we say this is going to firstly be very beneficial to women, because we say if in a marriage, if a man marries to a woman, but a woman is infertile, woman doesn't have the ability to bear a child, but we say the possibility is that the husband might dump the wife, and also we say that the parents-in-law might impose a lot of pressure on them. But we say the situation, if the situation is that the man loves the woman really, really very much, but the woman also loves the man, we say this is going to actually sustain to a love relationship, because in this status quo, if it allows much impact, we say we're going to provide them the alternative. The marriage can still sustain, and a man can have a woman, and then they can have the child. But we say that if they get married, they have to think about it very maturely, because they have to think this is the marriage. So we say the man is not going to make a very irrational choice. Okay, sorry. We say in this case we want to protect both the rights of the women and the men. And we also say that this is going to be very, very beneficial to the women and as well as the society development, because this is going to purify the society. Because there's so many women who are very poor, they become prostitution has become a very serious problem in the society. We say the problem is very serious. Do you think that those prostitutes they really want to have sex with men in exchange for money? Do you think they really want to do this? Do you think they're eternally willing to do this? This is only because they're poor. They have no other choice. They have no other alternatives to have to do this. And we say, if we allow this motion to happen, firstly, for those women who become prostitutes, they can find a husband and they can find shelter. They can still find the husband. But we say this is going to increase happiness index for society. This is going to be very, very beneficial. And we say this is the marriage is based on mutually consent level. And another argument is that this is going to be a solution to the aging population, because we say nowadays many countries around the world are facing this issue like aging population. We say if we allow this polygamy to exist, we say actually it will create very, very good familial atmosphere, because a husband will have several wives, and when they grow really old, they can take care of each other. Actually, this is going to be very beneficial. We say
Point. Males' incentive to marry adopted women is, as my partner clearly mentioned, that it is a personal recognition or something like that. In such a situation, there are a lot of possibilities for the women to be replaced by the men, not to be so concerned.
yes. I think the thing is that if you think there is a very big conflict, say the gap is too huge for the husband and the wife to solve, they can still get divorced. We just still have the alternative to really solve this problem, to really grapple with this issue. So today, based on what we started today, it's going to be very beneficial to the society development, and also for those vulnerable people such as the prostitutes and mistresses, as well as those single women. They can really find a home for them. So we say we are very proud of this motion. Thank you.
I thank the member of government. Call on member of the opposition to take the floor.
We think that if you only concerned about the economy, how about, do you really think that all men can afford to take care of their wife's family and take care of all their wives that they are, no thank you, that they think that they can get more than one wife? We believe that they are not concerning about the man's ability. We have to see the man's ability instead of allowing them to get married to many women. Okay.
But after taking this plan, the man in it who have relatively a set of human relation have a few wife, so it doesn't matter close to it.
Thank you for that. And we think that we have to think about the consequences about allowing these kind of things to happen. We think the overbirth rate of a family can cause a lot of economy burdens for a family. We think that developing countries are they have too many pollution, they have too many populations, and they have too many babies, and if you allow this kind of policies to practice, it will cause really economic burden for the society. And also, we believe that if we legalize this kind of policy, it's kind of a different ways to allow the affairs of the men. We're giving them the excuse to have affair, and you're actually legalize the affair. And also, I'm going to talk about my second extension. It's about the consequences of legalized polygamy. First, we believe that they are not concerning about the consequences of having this kind of too many wives or too many children. First, they can cause really seriously sexual disease. They basically say that they can enjoy sex because they're saying that they can enjoy sex and they can, because they have personal desires, so they can have more than one wife, which we think that it can cause really serious problems. Okay.
If there was a problem, why don't you just keep the polygamy and do another program for them to spread the sexual disease? Why do you have to ban polygamy?
Allowing this kind of policy is increasing the odds of this kind of things to happening, which the government should not do. And we think that it's legalizing, it's really not appropriate for the men to have an excuse to get affair or to make the society
get married, it's a mutual benefit thing. Even though the poor people in what we are talking about, the poor female what we are talking about in this rural area, they are willing to get married with this. So first you do accounting things like that. If by your policy, a rich man only marry a rich girl, a rich one, and poor rich a poor, and then we have choose, and by our policy it is a rich man can have 4 or 5 wives. That is to say you have 2 or 3 more poor females suffering in the world, in this rural area. We see that the opening government had already mentioned to you the urgency of these problems. We see in some of the developing area in Africa, thanks to the Chinese government's colonization there, we have the infrastructure construction by this of the thing. The people in rural area, the female part, the men in the rural area will go for this construction or something like that. So there's the low population of men in this rural area. So there's more female than male in this rural area. So we see that there's urgency, and we see that to keep the status quo, like what you already mentioned, cannot solve these problems. While our policy, which can bring a lot of benefit, to help to solve these problems, no matter from the women's point or the men, or even the women's family or the economic point from the closing opposition side, we think that it is our policy can solve this problem. So before I go into some of the clashes and the rebuttal, clashes of today, I think I have one rebuttal of this in that the closing opposition mentioned about the babies, right? Because they think that they cost a lot in the society if we have a lot of babies. We see that if we allow this policy, we have this kind of policy, we can solve this problem. Why? Because we have more wives to help the family to solve this problem. We have more wives to help his husband, her husband, to carry on with his children. So it really can solve these big problems. And when we are talking about today that is there a real need for this change? We say yes, because even though from the perspective of the status of female in developing area, like our opening government already mentioned, and also from the point of the lower house we mentioned about the prostitution, it's a good image to the society. We think that our policy is really needed. It's really needed. So, okay, what's our point?
Okay, so in order to solve that a man's lack in those rural areas, why does the government send man to those rural areas?
Yeah, because the government, we see that there are a lot of people move from the rural area to the cities, right? You do not deny that. Do you want to live in those rural area and to marry those poor, little bit poor girl? Do you like to that? I think no. So the government cannot have this kind of policy to move the male to those of the rural area, right? So the first question today from the upper house is to see whether the status of the female could be increased. Okay, what's your point?
This promising the message of women is becoming men. This motion stop a gradual change of the society. Therefore, by such logic, women cannot work at the society. Therefore, women's economic somehow will increase. Don't you think? Please engage this point.
Yeah, we are talking about I'm continuing to talk about the status of the female. Whether also we say that women will be discriminated or women have a lower, they are weaker than men. But the thing is that you are keeping the status quo and do not have some of the policies, do not have the model to solve these problems. Will still let people still have this kind of thing. You mentioned about the China or Korea or even or Japan to have some policy to increase the status of the female, but it doesn't work, right? It doesn't work. And we are talking on the current time we're talking about all developing areas. We see that all developing areas, rural area of the all developing nations is really need this kind of thing. So we see that why we think that we can help those of people who are suffering from who do not have in marriage, who are having their domestic violence or things like that. And we see that there is a problem of the gender inequality. So this is the root problems of this the root problem of this urgency. So we try to solve this problem from this gender equality. And what you provided to us to move the men to the rural areas could not work. So when we think we can help those female in the world, we think help the female in those areas. We say because if a man marry 4 or 5 wives, it is to say we can reduce the number, the chance of domestic violence. Why we say so? It's because first, why we say so is because first, if now you have a wife, right? If you have a wife and then you do not like it and you want someone else, you just think it's so boring and noisy in the family. So we are noisy in the family. So you just do something someplace else to find other girls in the society. But by adopting our policy, we can at the same time to solve this problem of the rural area, we can also have to reduce the amount of domestic violence in their family. It is a good way for us to see at this point. So basically, what we provide you of the government side is that we know that the status of the female from the history perspective is relatively low, and we see that our policy could really help the problems to solve these problems in those rural area of the developing nations like some nations in Africa, but also probably also China have some of the traditions like female are weaker than men, and this and female widows in the family in the rural area is to be really discriminated on. So basically, we think that we take the debate. Thank you.
Next speaker for this. Okay, good case for opposition of
Thank you.
First of all, I would like to remind the government side that you have already mentioned that you have already defined that this house as every country. But what so far I have heard is about the developing country. So I think you missed the point about the developed country. So, and I would like to make a rebuttal to the previous speaker. So you said that the man wouldn't want to move to a rural area and to marry a poor woman. So what do you think that if you practice the policy and those men would rather to marry those poor women and give them the financial supplies and to support their life? So what makes you think so? And now I would like to first of all I would like to tell the classes in today's debate. And as we have heard that today, the upper house of the government side, they talk about the marriage is based on need. They think that those women, why they marry? Because they need the money, they need the support of the financial support. So they said that the purpose of marriage is to get the financial support because they need the money. But as we have with our opposition side have mentioned that this is not only about money. This is not only about need, because we think that today the purpose of marriage is based on love, not based on the need. So we think this is what they are talking about. So sorry. And today we find out that there are 3 classes in today's debate. The one is that if this is a way to improve the woman's life, and the second one is a discrimination, and the third one is the right to marry. First one, they think that this is a way to improve the woman's life because that in order to get married to a rich person, and they can get the financial support and to help them to get treasure to improve their life. But why we don't think so is that we don't think that we think men to support their life. So this is a way to lower their status. As we has already mentioned, the way to solve this problem is to improve their life, to give them the right to fight for themselves, to offer them such an education or some welfare in this case that they can improve their life, not to ask them to rely on others. And the third one is the right to marry, which is discussed between the whole house. And we think that, yeah, we are not denying that they should have the right to get married. But as my teammate has already said, yeah, we allow them to marry as a person, only a person, not among a group of people, like more than two people. Why? Because this will cause a bad consequence. The first one, the overpopulation. Because in the if the family have an overpopulation, then this will cause the economic problem. Because they have to make more money and to support their family. Sorry. And I know you said that. I know the government side said that. Okay, today if we have so many wives, then they can take care of our children. But we don't think so. Because you said those are poor women. You think that they don't have the ability to work. They don't have the ability to improve their life. So why do you think so? Why do you think that they can support this family on the financial aspect? We think that yes, maybe they can take care of the children because they can spend time with them. But what about the economic problem? What about the financial problem they have to solve? As we see that in India and in Africa, a family they may have so many children and so many because they have this policy, so they can have so many children. But what is the consequence? And this consequence is that those countries are becoming poor and poor. As we see that on the news that there is an Indian person that he has 180 granddaughters and sons, kind like that. And what is the social value of this? As the upper opposition house has mentioned, the social value won't agree with this because in our status quo, such as our developed country, we don't allow it because this is our social value. But if you want to legalize this policy, how can you change the social value in the short term? And if today you legalize this policy and a man there is really a man and who marries so many women, what will the society think about this? Even though you think that you legalize this policy, but the social value isn't going to change. Sorry. And we think that the marriage is not based on the law. We think that the upper house think that the marriage is not based on the law, the need. But we have already clarified that today the marriage should be based on the law and should be based on the relationship between two people. It's not to get married because that you need his money or you need someone's money. So we think that in your case that you are only talking about those developing countries whose people are poor. But yes, we can't deny that those women are in the lower status quo in such as like developing countries. But what we have to do to help them is to offer them more rights, to help them to receive the education, not to ask them to do something such like this. And also, you said that if they get married, then the husband has a responsibility to take care of them. But as you already mentioned, they are in a poor condition. They are just like the upper house has said. This is another way to enforce them to make a choice. So